Welcome to Only One You Need Radio. We're not the only one you need. You are. We just show you how to get out of your own way. With your host, speaker, author, business coach, and consultant, David Dubé.
Welcome to Only One You Need Radio. It's your host, David Dubé. I'm so excited to have you, as always. And in this episode, I want to talk about the depth of life. How deep are you living? What do I mean by that? I mean that most people are what we call shallow livers. They're foragers. Most people forage for food. That's what most people do. We're taught this. We are taught that everything we need is right there. If it's not, you better be worried. And this is where control happens. Control happens for those people who live on the edges, right? They live in the shallows. And their life is dictated by what they see on TV, what's being talked about at the water cooler. These are the shallow dwellers. They get caught up in, the normal affairs of life. Mind you, this is the bottom three levels. If you listen to my last session, that's where they live. They don't grasp the concept of abundance and not having to struggle for everything. And it's crazy to me. It really is. It's like, I remember in high school, I wrote something to this effect, because I haven't gone and read the quote that I wrote back then, but it was something to the effect of like, I may look like a puddle, but I'm as deep as an ocean. Like, I might look like someone who is shallow, but for sure, I'm deeper than most people you could ever imagine. And I wrote that because I felt different. I've felt different my entire life. I've never felt like I was someone who fit into the norm. And I would observe the norm all the time. Right? I was a part of the norm, right? We live in the society that, quote unquote, is, you have to be normal. Do what they say, do as they do. And I was never one to do as they say and do as they do. I would literally know that I have a test the next day, and I would think to myself, oh, I'm gonna do awesome at this. And I don't want to say meditate, because at the time I didn't even know meditation. But I would kind of do a meditation for myself and prep my mind for what was coming, as if I had already done it and experienced it. And it's weird, like these revelations, like me even saying that is something I didn't even really realize until just this moment. Like, I actually did those things, which is pretty cool. And as I go through like my timeline, I see how I was so different than so many of the people that I surrounded myself with. And not different in a good way or a bad way in that sense, not trying to say that I was better than anyone, because that's not what it's about. It's just about having an understanding that's different than what everyone else had or has. I feel like I could separate myself from a situation to see it from above or from the side and grasp the reason for both sides. Like, I get why you want that, and I know why I want to feed into it. And I could see that, and I could feel that, and I could separate the two and say, emotionally, I want that because of the gratification it's going to bring me. But I know it's not feeding into anything good for you or I. So this should end. And I've had that conversation quite a few times in my life. And not because of any other reason than it was beneficial long-term emotionally for both parties. And to have that separation and to know that, yes, you want that, but it's not good because it's not fulfilling deeper purpose or meaning. And having that wherewithal to separate the two and understand that, to me, is a greater thing and adds depth to who I am. And that's why I felt that way. That's how, if you remember the story about my first serious girlfriend and me sharing that quite a few episodes back, like, it takes a different type of person to realize what I had realized. And I have many people who've told me, like, how could you look at something like that and separate you from the situation in that way? Where so many other people would be vengeful, hateful, and carry that with them. I can't do that. I know what it feels like, and it feels like crap. I don't like feeling like crap. I don't know about you, but that's one thing I don't like. I don't like feeling like crap. My best friend. Now, I have several best friends. I'm lucky in that aspect. But one of my best friends committed suicide on the 1st of last month. How should I feel? And I'm still reading his girlfriend, her posts on how she feels like she's in a dark pit. And it's understandable. It's certainly understandable that you would go to a different place because someone you love so much is no longer here and you don't have the ability to share that with them. He was one of my best friends. I'm not there. I have the ability to separate myself and understand things differently than other people. And I'm not saying that what she's going through is not valid. That's not it. It is very valid. I don't want to invalidate her for her feelings. She's justified in having them. But when someone's not here anymore, in this case, my friend, or in another case, my mother, who's just over a year ago, what do you do? I can't give up on life. I can't go there because if I go there, I'm doing what they did. Right? If I go there, I'm going to be like him. I'm not like him. And I know that he's also not like him either. He's not here. He's transitioned. He's in a different place, in a better place. That makes me feel better about his situation. Right? So there's this understanding that takes place. And when you have that understanding, there's a difference between getting something, as I've talked about before, right? People get things, but they seldom understand them. I get it. He's gone. But there's also a different aspect to this. I also understand it. It's easy for us to get things. All of people get things. We have our lives. And yet we don't even understand ourselves. This is why we struggle externally, because we don't know who we are. Like, if you know who you are, you're not going to struggle so much with everything else outside of you. Because the you is the outside as well. If everything is vibrational. If science dictates that this wood desk just vibrates differently than my computer monitors and my skin and my bones and the water in front of me, all this stuff, it just vibrates differently. It's all matter. It's all made of the same material at its finite center. It's all the same. See, there's this knowingness that happens then. And when you have this knowingness, things change. It's like if you've seen the movie The Matrix is the example. Seeing things from a different perspective, having the knowingness that life is different than what you naturally perceive it to be. And when you can change and transition that, life changes and transitions. It molds around who you are. It adds depth and breadth to everything. It makes things more enjoyable, more visceral. There's more emotion that takes place in sitting still than ever before. And that's amazing. When you can do that, your life changes. You add depth to your life. Every time you take a breath, there's more meaning to it. There's more of a fulfillment in it. Because there's this gratitude and gratefulness for the life that you have. And then the experiences you share become even more meaningful. I remember way back when in high school, one of the things that really pissed me off was asking someone to hang out and they'd be like, so what are we going to do? As if they needed something planned in order to hang out. Like your best friends never asked what you're going to do. Your best friends just came to hang out. They didn't care. But that girl that you want to see or hang out with, or that boy, whatever, wants to know, what are you going to do? And for me, I was like, it's never about that. It's about the experience of being with someone. I always felt that way. That was like this massive pet peeve of mine. What are we going to do, really? I'm not worth that to you? Like, you need me to plan something in advance? That's the difference. Finding enjoyment in the existence of something instead of the interaction with it. The interaction is the benefit of being next to it. That's depth to me. That's where depth happens in life based upon that. What are you grateful for today? What are you excited about today? You see, when I leave my house and I go anywhere, I go to a restaurant, I go to an event, go hang out with friends, I notice the emotional states on people's faces. People wear their emotions like nothing else. I mean, we dress and appear the way we feel, right? So what the clothes we put on typically dictate also how we feel. And then further from that, or deeper than that, is the way we hold our states, our state of being. So you look at the wrinkles on someone's face, you look at their demeanor, you look at their body language. All of this tells you. They're what the professionals call tells. You can read into a tell easily. Yet most people don't do that. And the reason is because we're so stuck on ourselves. We're so in our world. We're so living in the shallow zone. We're not in the deep end. We're foragers. So we, like shrimp, right? We're in the shallows looking and searching for our next meal. as opposed to, that really ugly fish that has that like light thing that dangles in front of its head. And then someone comes up, a fish swims up to it like, oh, what's this light? And then it just gobbles you up. That's really how life should be experienced. Now, I'm not saying you should swim up to the light and then be gobbled up. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying life is the experience that needs to come to you and not you that needs to go out to it. There's a difference here. This is the difference between those who are on the shallow side, those with standard definition mindsets, and those who live in the deep, who have high definition mindsets. How deep do you live your life? See, we need to examine ourselves way more often than anything else. We truly do. And few of us really take the time. Ever. I want to know from you. How deep are you living? Do you have a greater understanding? Are you working towards that greater understanding? How can I help you find more depth and breadth in your life? What can I do to open that up for you? To get you swimming in the deep end? To get life to come to you so you don't have to swim out and find it? My relationships that I've had, all my relationships in my adult life, I did not have to search them out. I did not seek and find them. They found me. There's a difference. There's a difference in how we do what we do. Those who are going on, the dating sites because they want to find their match, they still don't know who they are. Why is there divorce? Because people don't know who they are. It all stems from communication. All of it. Everything does. If you can't communicate, things break down. And when things break down, we find the easiest outs. This is how life works, my friends. And it's crazy to think this way, but it is true. When you know who you are and you can stand on your own 2 feet, the things you want will find you. They will come to you. You won't have to go seek and search them out. Life in all its fullness will find you, and it will come to you, and it will do as you want for yourself. So, once again, David Dubé here. Come find me on the socials. Share with me your experience. What can I do for you? How can I help you? It's time that you be the person you were meant to be. Believe in all that you're capable of and become more than you thought imaginable. I look forward to talking to you again. Take care.